Hey Seekers, thank you so much for joining me. Happy full moon in Pisces. These energies really got to me. So, Pisces is a very intuitive, um, ethereal sign. It's very cosmic. It's very connected to spirit and to energies and to the collective consciousness. So a lot came through for me today. I've had some, I'm going to call it realizations, messages. I went into one of my many tantrums that I have with divinity, with the notion of God, with the source. I know that everything that we're undergoing now as a society and as a collective, as humanity, eventually is for the sake of healing. All the polarity and the fragmentation and the separation that we see so strongly right now, and the immense amount of suffering. It's not new, right? It's been around, but I've mentioned it in different occasions, but I'm repeating this now for the sake of the message that I want to convey to you. So it's bubbling right now very strongly, very clearly up to the surface on all fronts. Climate change, global warming. We see natural disasters left and right, from floods to fires. Gaia is in a lot of pain. It's really, really hurting. And the animal kingdom suffers a lot from it. And the first to suffer are third world countries and communities and people that don't have what the Western world has. And so we're seeing this mass migration, and just for an example, what's happening with Haiti and people on the borders in the US. That's just the beginning. This is not a doom message, don't get me wrong. I'm just giving a little bit of background for you to understand where I'm getting towards with this message. But climate change migration, this is just the start. The more nature is rebelling, and well, I can't say rebelling because she's not doing it in ways of hurting us. She's doing it in ways that she's in so much pain she can't hold it anymore. And that's not her fault. Us as humanity, as society, especially the Western world, have caused this. This is not just this is not just on our leaders and on our governments. I think that's very deflective and cowardly to do, to put it on them. It's them as well, very much so, but we're paying them and we are voting for them, and we are eating their products and wearing their fashion, and we day to day live by all these things that fund, support, create the destruction and the devastation that we see all around us. So there's that, and then there's the polarities in society. We are very, very split in how we view the world, and each side sees itself as the more righteous and in the right, and the side that cares more about others. Every single community, culture, person, group that is intensely in their polar side of whatever scale really, really strongly believe that they're in the right. I've done a video about evil on my 13th element playlist. You can find it, where I go a bit more in depth as to how evil kind of expresses itself in that regard. I don't want to elaborate on it now. If you want to, you're welcome to watch that video. However, this intense righteous indignation that we're all feeling right now, that everyone is feeling right now, is our own demons coming to dance, kind of coming out into the surface, and us unable to handle them or be sincere with ourselves to our responsibility when it comes to them, and the fact that they are a part of us, that we deflect. That's the bad guy, that's the bad person, this is the bad group. Oh, it's nature causing this to us. No, we did it to her first. Oh, these immigrants are coming and flooding our borders. Well, we wrecked their habitat. Like, you always have to think of cause and effect, right? Those are just small examples. Big examples, but in the big picture are small, because every single one of us, every single one of you out there, and people are dealing with so many battles between different aspects of themselves. There's, the archetype of the angel and the devil on each shoulder is really, really strong right now, because, and this is the good part where the healing comes through, because we've had this dance between polarities within us for millennia. And the way we've dealt with it mostly is with suppression and deflection. This is not my inner battle. This is something to do with something in my outer experience now. It's also in your outer experience. I don't want to fall into the toxic spirituality where instead of dealing with life in a spiritual matter, we escape life and call it spirituality. Spirituality is the spirit of reality. And we won't reach utopia or the better days unless we go straight through what we're going through right now as a society. So all my spiritual friends and community out there that are trying to detach from all of it, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is not to hurt you. This is just to make it easier and faster on you and better for all of us for the sake of our healing, because the more you run away from it, the more you're hurting the process of healing for yourself, for your environment, and for the collective, right? The only way out is in. The more you run away from it, the more you stall. Because especially light workers and shadow workers, this is when you are called to speak about integration, transmutation, light work and shadow work, and how all the polarities are just reflecting one another and are actually the same thing in different guise. Okay? Two sides of the wings, left wing, right wing, is the ego. Okay? The home and the exterior, part of planet Earth. What's nature is doing to us? Well, what have we done to nature? And so on and so on. And in order for society to wake up to that, to its own responsibility, we have to wake up to our own responsibility and be present. You know how we always say, be in the here and now. Well, you can't be here if you're not here, and you can't be in the now if you're not here now. If you're elsewhere, in else time, you're not in the here and you're not in the now. And even if the here and now hurts, in order for us to heal it, we gotta be in it. That includes the drama that we see outside. I'm not saying to become completely immersed and go into pessimism and be negative. I'm saying be in the know. By being in the now, what is happening? What is happening around you? Your society, your country, your neighborhood, your family, yourself, your heart. This is not about escaping information. This is about, because it's all very hurtful and negative, rather it's about cross-referencing information. The information that is out there. And having a big picture. Okay. Now, yes, it's very confusing and overwhelming because there's a lot of fake stuff out there, and there's a lot of lies, and there's a lot of propagandas, and a lot of deceit, and a lot of deflection, and people throwing responsibility and saying that this is the bad person and that is the bad person, and no one's looks within. So I know it's hard, and I know it's painful. And when I do this, I follow my own advice to you, right? So when I do this in the daily life, it's not because I enjoy it or because it's easy, but because that's how I am able to be your spiritual teacher, to be empathic to you. I can't help anyone if I don't know what's happening, what people are dealing with, what the world is dealing with. And yes, it's important to take breaks, and yes, it's important to meditate and to rest and self-care, all of that. This is not, instead, it's not this or that. If you're going into, I can only do this or that, then you're in the polar mind. See? If you were just deterred by this and resistant to what I just said, and you're like, I can't do this because then I can't do that. Stop. You're in the polar mindset. You think it's either this or that, which is just a greater proof that it's not working. The escapism is not working. It's not positive. It's toxic. And I'm calling you, empaths, spiritual teachers, seekers, seers, shifters, to step into your calling. This is what you've been waiting for. Speak up. Yeah, you'll get less likes on Facebook and people will look at you funny. But I just read a very powerful quote from Dante. There's a special dark place reserved in hell for those who maintain neutrality in the face of moral crisis. So that can apply to so many things in your life. I am not saying control people. I am not saying tell people what to do. I am not giving you a go to impose your righteous indignation. No, I'm giving you a go to cross-reference information, to learn, to be in the here, to be in the now, in everything that is happening, and to speak up for unity. To show people, look, I get why you see this and that, or how you feel this and that, but if you put yourself in the other side's shoes, this is what they feel. And then when they smirk and being like, thinking that you're on their side and against them, be like, no. I get what you're feeling, this and that, but you should look at what it's like to be in this person's shoes. Inspire empathy. And you can't inspire empathy without having empathy, and you can't have empathy if you're far, far, far away. Now, I'm going to say a little bit of contradictions, because in a way you're also guided to find your tribe, right? Actually, now I'm realizing it's not a contradiction, because if you feel alone in this, right? If you're like thinking the same things, but you're like, yeah, Morgane, but I feel completely alone in it. I feel like people look at me funny, or don't understand, or ridicule me, or ostracize me, or whatever. But here's the thing. The person who thinks just like you and is waiting to connect with you won't know unless you show yourself. And you won't know unless they show themselves. For you to find your tribe of like-minded people, you have to let them know that you are there with them, that you think like them, that you feel like them. You got to send out those signals. You gotta echo the signal of who you are and your essence fearlessly, shamelessly, so you could attract your people, your tribe, and that you can be attracted to them. And that other people that are very much in the polar mind or in polar camps could see that there's another camp, a third camp, that is inclusive to moderation from here and moderation from there. Now, I want to be very, very clear. When I speak of moderation, I'm not speaking about poison. Oh, I can smoke in moderation. No, that's poison. Oh, I can pay companies to abuse animals for my indulgence, that just in moderation. No. Moderation within the spectrum of love and of healing. Of thinking differently and having different paths to the same truth. Please don't use anything that I say as approval for extreme behavior disguised as moderation. Animal cruelty can never be moderate. It is extreme. Killing yourself slowly with consuming poisonous products or foods, that's not moderation. That's extreme. That comes either from lack of self-love and self-destruction tendencies. And by default, you do it then to someone else. Or in the English language, animals are it. I was about to say to something else, but it's not a thing. To someone else. Let's just leave it at that. We can't be honest with ourselves if we're not honest with the state of the world. We can't be honest with the state of the world if we're not honest with ourselves. We can't heal the polarities outside of us if we're unable to heal the polarity inside of us. And the polarity inside of you right now is that one side of you just wants to just get away from all of that. Trust me, I understand. And then one side of you just wants to dive in and fight everyone. It doesn't have to be this or that. You can find peace in knowing. And it won't be an immediate peace, perhaps. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. The next few years, this is, the toxic organizations are collapsing now. I can already see the dust starting to. But major events are not done. There are going to be a lot of challenging things, but also a lot of great things that will happen as a result. There are going to be a lot of great things that will create a lot of resistance and a lot of conflict and strife. Because healing injustices of centuries, there's a reason why those injustices lasted for centuries. Because a lot of people really, really made a lot of profit off of those injustices, or it was very, very convenient for them. So when something wrong is set right, those who benefited from that wrong will fight to achieve justice, to achieve peace, to achieve a better world. We won't be able to do so by escaping. Now, a few good words before I get to the point, which is why I started this video in the first place. It's going to be a little bit of a twist. A lot of you out there who are healers and spiritual teachers I want to tell you that on a personal level, and this is my premonition slash prophecy slash insight, however you want to look at it. You have gone through so much of your karma and of your challenging cycles for a reason. It was intense. So you could be at this point already knowledgeable, wise, empowered, and able to lead slash inspire others. On a personal level, I think many of you, and this is not a promise, and I don't know every single one of you, and life is complex, okay? But generally speaking, I think many of you are and are about to continue to be in a very good place in your personal life. Right now, there's going to be another polar switch. Life is still going to be polarized and extreme for a while, but those who were at the bottom are going to go to the top. So status-wise, finances, health, on many, many aspects, a lot of you are going to start experiencing the life that you've dreamed of in a very powerful way. But it's in order to keep you safe and free to be able to do the work that I just spoke of. If you'll run away, I'm not referring to taking a break every now and then, but I mean like really in your head, detached from life and detached from the world. I don't know. I think there are two main reasons as to why your life are going to really improve on a personal level. I still see the collective going through many challenges because of everything we're all aware of. You don't need me to elaborate. But so one of the reasons is the journey that you went through. It's time for you to have your dharma. You've earned it. You've earned it. You just earned the joy, and you're worthy of feeling safe and free in the world. So that's one aspect of it, very valid of it. And another aspect of it, not instead, but another aspect of it, is so that you can serve your purpose that you came here for. Now it's time for you to guide, to teach, to inspire. And again, how will you do it if you're not with, right? Now, all of this message actually started because, as I told you in the beginning, we'll circle back. I had one of my tantrums with the divine. If you want to see one of my biggest one, watch my the spiritual 3-year-old who divorced God. But I had just this moment from the energies of the full moon. I had this moment of tapping into the pain of the world. And I started crying, and I was like, why did you decide to go through this journey of separation? Like, I get it. I know what you all know. We already know the, to experience life through infinite sets of eyes. Right? I wrote once, number of truths like the number of sets of eyes. And that's what we know about divinity, that it is so divided. Divinity is divided for the sake of experiencing life and growing with life and expanding itself. God is constantly evolving as we evolve, right? If we're made in God's image, when our image expands, God's image expands. It's inevitable. It's a breathing, living organism that grows itself. And actually, okay, I have to say this, and I will get back to the point. But scientifically wise, there has just been a discovery about how the universe seems to be a thinking, expanding, learning entity. So science pretty much is now proving that the universe is in constant state of learning, which really aligns with the divine being in constant state of learning and growing and evolving, right? And yes, that the separation that has happened was for the sake of that, for the expansion of God. And then I was like, okay, I know all that, great. So you did that to experience yourself and to learn more. But still, look at all this pain. Was it worth it? I asked from a very genuine place. Like I asked, was it worth it? And I got an answer. I got a response. I heard I did it because I was lonely. And it all just kind of, it was just like a crumbling of realizations where I was like, you've separated yourself from this perfect light, from this perfect oneness. It wasn't just about mad scientist curiosity. I mean, curiosity was an aspect of it. You wanted to learn, yes, but you did that because you were lonely. I heard that. It wasn't a sound, it was just a knowing in my head. But I knew that it was outside of me, it's like that was the answer. I feel like I genuinely, because I asked it from from a very sincere place. I was like, why did you do that? If everything was light and everything was oneness, why did you divide us like that? Learning, that's not enough. Look at all the suffering. It's like, I was lonely. God divided itself and separated itself so it could engage, although an aspect of itself, but its experience is an aspect in addition to itself. So it started as a genuine wish to not feel alone within the unity, within the oneness, ironically enough. And another answer that I received was, I don't know if it was worth it, but I'm trying to fix it. So I knew I had to immediately obviously talk to you guys about this, and let you know that Divinity is trying to fix all of this. And my added translation to it is that we need to come together for the sake of that happening. We have to be present in the here and now, and with all the pain of it, to not run away. There is no running away anyway. Wherever you go, you follow. And if you have genuine empathy to the world and to its pain, it will follow you. So turn around. Look at the demons of the world. Look at the demons within yourself. And let's get this party started. And try to find one another so we don't have to do this alone. Because many of us light workers, shadow workers, same yin and yang, spiritual teachers, have gone through a very lonely, solitary journey. Most of you are born just one of you to a family that just looks at you as the odd bird or is not understanding you. And many of you, most of you grew up feeling alone, either in your environment, your family, your culture, like you don't fit in. It was for a reason. because you were meant to learn about the pains of the world and then heal it. But first, you had to heal yourself from the emotional and psychological and physical pain that you had to endure for the sake of this journey of learning in this lifetime or many lifetimes. And that's what you probably had for the past few years. And this is a timeless message. So whenever you're guided to watch this is when you're ready. Okay, I don't know if you're watching this as I'm posting this or whenever. 5 years from now, welcome to the club. 10 years from now, welcome to the club. There's no such thing as too late. There's just, it's a cycle. Okay, and if I'm here and you're here, I'm not taller than you. It's just perspective, right? Now here you're tall. It's just a circle. And at one point we'll join forces. Somewhere along that circle, we'll find each other. And this is not personal for me. Please don't try and figure out where I live and come and find me. Please don't do that to me. But I mean, as an example for a collective, find your tribe. Say that you're out there so they know by expressing your truth. And be present. And know that whatever the world is experiencing right now, it will be better. But I think it will first, before that, will be worse. To summarize, I don't think you're going to suffer. I mean, we're all in a way because of our empathy, but I think many of you have had your share of the main big issues, and now this is a time in evolution of consciousness where you are given blessings and protection and freedoms in order for you to do this work. Okay? And God did all that because God was lonely. And I was trying to find healing to all of this. Thank you so much for listening to me, for being here for as long as you have. I really appreciate you. I love you very much. And my name is Morgane if you're new. Join the Existential Shift.